cold. This guy.
Yeah, we can. Like a different one. Add it.
Like a high end.
It's a brand of pumpkin.
Oh. Reese. You got corn. I got a look. Whatever it does, get corn. What's your last name? Edward, right?
Come on, man.
Well, that's the news. This I don't get my cat. I don't. I don't. Oh, yeah, it's best. Sorry. Ready?
How's it been going?
Hey, Tara. Oh, yeah, Put it out there.
I got things to do.
Yeah. But, yeah.
If I could keep up with my-
Yeah. Bow down.
Huh?
Robert, what?
What you did? Do anything. Who did it when you're talking to?
Brad, Mike, Bill, all that. Okay. Pretty much.
Use that computer.
For today.
Better.
Figure it out. Check out. Give me it. No.
Yeah. Where's Kate? I don't know, Boss. What up? Which one? And you're telling you like your parents will carry out. It's like you no, you like literally think the character is like that is not.
I saw you post that on your story. I always show them.
Yeah.
What's up, man? How you doing, man? Good to see you.
Oh, did I got your
Oh, the barbecue.
I got
Oh, yeah, I saw that. It's in Korean barbecue. Yeah, I should, I was so excited.
I want you to know.
Appreciate it.
No, shut it. All right, let's get started. I'm sure people will come late as they always do. All right. All right. The presentation. If I had to tell a brand new person outside of showing up, having a good attitude, which are kind of the same thing, what skill that you should really, be extremely determined to learn, it would be closing. Okay, it would become a master closer. Learn how to get checks from people. Learn how to get commitments throughout the presentation. Build yes momentum. Learn the different types of questions. Porcupine, alternative choice, tie downs, inverted tie downs. The words. Closing is so it's the most critical skill you can learn in primary. Most people, they feel if they present enough and educate enough, they'll get business. That's not the case. If you don't close, you can't get business. And developing that closing instinct, closing too early, too often, as opposed to too little, too late, is everything, okay? And when you become a closer, you're going to rub people the wrong way, okay? Especially in the beginning. A lot of salespeople that are not in sales, they don't understand. Okay? So in the beginning, okay, these are green lights. You're a little pushy. That's a green light. You're a little aggressive. That's a green light. I can see you're really excited about this. That's a green light. different tangent green light. You know, you're really money. You seem a little greedy. That's a green light. These are great comments to get, okay? Because you can always scale it back. It's very hard to turn a civilized person into a barbarian, okay? But you can easily turn a barbarian into a civilized person, okay? You can learn how to scale it back and tone it down, but to develop a closing instinct. So I believe you should, especially in the beginning, you should get every sales book you can get, okay? Sales is not a dirty word. It's not a bad profession. It's not something that is, doesn't have prestige. Salespeople make this country go round, okay? Salespeople provide all of the incomes for everybody working. If somebody's not selling, all those positions, they don't get paid, okay? Now, some people do it through advertising. Now there's online sales, but if you're not selling, so you got to learn how to close. And so, we're privileged, man. I mean, I think what happens when you take things for granted, just in general, right? Just think about that. Like when you take your opportunity for granted, when you take your family for granted, right? When you don't value money, you take that for granted. You're wasteful. And I mean this with everything in me. I was telling somebody the other day, I think this will be, another month that Jen will go over 20,000. Right now, if she was an RVP, she'd be number 9 in the entire state. Year to date. She would beat Dean Francis. Okay. She's at 36,000 of personal premium through 5 months. Okay. 75,000 in her base shop through 5 months. Right? And obviously, her income is skyrocketing, but she really uses the presentation very, very well. Same things that she does all the time that I feel a lot of other new and upcoming trainers do, that she calls all the time. She asks questions all the time, extremely coachable, but uses the technology so she can learn how to get better. Because if you're kind of doing whatever you want, you're a rogue agent, it's very hard to coach you, right? But if you follow a structure, you can learn and then develop your skills, right? And I think, obviously, the numbers speak for themselves. So she's going to go through the presentation and kind of how she uses it. Obviously, maybe a couple, not differences, but certain things that make, that she does or notices, or adjustments that she's made, and more importantly, how she closes. Okay. It just seems like now, every time she goes on an appointment, she closes. Is it like that? But it seems like that, right? Because when you develop this expectancy, right, this can happen for you. So it's a lot of hard work, a lot of time, a lot of. You a leader? Huh? Big time? All right, let's give it up for Jennifer Lee.
Hey guys. I remember when we used to come 30 minutes late to training, and Shaq would put me on the spot, and I would cry in the corner in the back, and Samir would be like, "It's okay." It's true story. I'm serious. That's why I'm so scared to come late at all, even a minute or anything. So love you, Donna, right? But yeah, so I'm not used to training about the KT, because it's always been attendance, recruiting. So I'm going to try to really go through it and teach you what I do. But showing up really kept me going, and you have to show up. You cannot miss any meetings. No way. Jose, nothing. You have to show up to everything, because every meeting is a missing piece of the puzzle. You don't know what you're going to miss. And watching it on Zoom and watching it online is not the same thing. Going on Drive is not the same thing. So I just have to put it out there. You have to be here to get the feel of it, and to actually, see how Peter and Tia say things over the kitchen table, and hear how Chandal does the interview. It's not the same thing when you're not in the environment. Would you guys agree? Yeah, you have to show up even if you don't want to. I always wanted to be on the same page as Shaq. I think like I've gotten a lot better in getting back to him because when he calls me, I get back to him if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure I get back to him within 5 minutes every single time, unless I'm in a KT. And if he calls me in the evening and I pick up, it's always like I better be on my way to a KT because why are you picking up in the evening if you're not on your way to anything, right? And so I'm on my toes all the time in a good way with Shaq because when he calls me, I want to be able to tell him I'm doing something to get to the next level, and also like we got to push him up also. So the more I do, the more he'll, obviously get at the end also. So always be on the same page as your upline. And when I'm in the KT, I want to be like Shaq. When I'm in an interview, I want to be like Shondell, So like I pretend to be like people. Like when I'm in the shower, I'm Beyonce, right? So, but when I'm in the KT, I want to be calm like Shaq. I want to like just kind of scan the room and I mirrors of their type A star system, what we learned. So I think the two main things that really helped me outside of just showing up, well, I guess part of showing up because I wouldn't have known about Tom Hopkins or the star system if I didn't show up, is the star system and Tom Hopkins. If you don't have Tom Hopkins, How to Master the Art of Selling, then I don't know what you're doing, but you need that book, right? And then star system, how to read if somebody's mainly an S, a T, an A, or an R, then that's really important too. I was just in a KT 2 days ago, and in between, I mean, everything was clean in that house or apartment, everything. And the mom is a breadwinner. They have 5 kids together, and she's the breadwinner. And she was like, "Oh yeah, I love to cook." I was like, "Oh, that's why your table is so clean because you want to make room for the food." She's like, "Oh my god, thanks for noticing." I was like, "Oh, that was like such a small comment, but it gave me kudos." So when you notice things like that, you don't have to say it out. Riding with the trainee so you can prepare with the trainee is one thing that I always make sure I do. Because you get there all the time at the same time. Because who has ever tried to meet a trainee at the KT and then they come late? Like yesterday, even though we went in and we did business, the trainee was 45 minutes late to the KT. Because I gave him a chance to the KT thing, to a KT, because you're trying to close. You don't know if they're an S, and really strict on time. Because if somebody came up to me like 45 minutes late, I like level it down and I say, "Hey, by the way, before we get into this KT, you have a couple of responsibilities. I'm going to do 95% of the work, but I just need you as a trainee. These are your responsibilities. 1, introduce me. And you don't have to say all these great things, but you can say, "Hey, this is my trainer, Jen Lee or Jennifer. I'm really excited about what she's teaching me." And then 2, you ask for the kitchen table. I don't know where the kitchen table is. I've never been to their house, so I'd rather not be the one to ask for it. So I'd rather you be the one to ask for it. So is their kitchen table square? Is it rectangle? Is it circle, right? And I want to know what shape the kitchen table is, if possible, so I can teach the trainee how the seating is going to be. Because how many times you go in there and they're trying to sit like to your left, but you're trying to get the person to sit to your knee before. Then I offer them ability to ask for referrals. Because when I'm about to do the quoting, then I want them to be focused on doing something, and I want the client not to be in an awkward, silent moment where they're not doing anything, just watching me crunch numbers. I want them to work with the trainee, and plus, giving the trainee the referrals, we'll get more referrals out of that way instead of them giving the referrals and names and numbers to me. So the way I tell the trainee is, "Hey, listen, when we go in here, this is solely for your training. We don't know what's going to happen. We hope that they decide to do business with us and they love what we do and what you're doing. We're definitely going to get introductions to other families for you. But if for some reason they do go into wanting to do business with us, right? I'm just under promising at this point. They don't know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen, but they don't know what's going to happen. If for some reason they do decide to do business, right? You're going to see me go into crunching some numbers or about to go crunching some numbers to them. I'm not going to explain to you exactly what I'm going to say, Baj, but when I start talking about referrals and I ask them for referrals, that's when I'm going to prompt them over to you, and I'm going to indirectly tell you to go ahead and take the ball. I'm going to pass the ball to you. And your responsibility is just to write 1 to 10 on your piece of paper. And all I want to know, if you can write this down on your piece of paper, so the trainee's writing this so he knows, right? Name, number, relationship, if they're married, and how many kids they have. If they're single or married, and how many kids they have. So they can put like M for married and 2K for 2 kids, right? They don't have to put too many things. Some people want to know the occupation, but I want to cut time as much as possible, but I want to know a little bit so I can report with referral when I do call them for the trainee to go on with me also. So I prepare the trainee. That's all I tell them to do is like, hey, when you ask for the referral, when you get to the asking for referrals, let's say Bob and Susan, they're your brothers and sisters, they're going to give you referrals regardless. But the way you ask for referrals, how would you ask for a referral? And they're like, oh, do you know anybody? Okay, that's cool. You can ask, do you know anybody? But usually when you ask a yes or no question, right, what kind of answer do you normally get? A no, right? So we already know that as human beings, Orlando, we don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot, right? So instead of asking, do you know, let's ask, who do you know? And so I teach them how to ask an open-ended question instead of a no, a yes or no question that's going to get them into the no area, right? You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot. So my presentation is just throwing referral seeds, telling stories, sharing videos if appropriate, depending on what we're talking about, and then, just my tone of voice. So I really, really like Shaq. So I guess I'll do the whole presentation, but not like, I'm not going to go through all the life insurance quadrants, if that's okay with you guys, okay? All right, cool. So after you build rapport, and I don't know where, oh, thanks. This is so great. I'm training on the KT, guys. Benjamin. You guys know who Benjamin is? That's my car. So we can go out and make more Benjamins. Right? Because I don't have a man, no kids yet, right? So that's my Benjamins. So, all right. So we talk about we build rapport, and I open up the presentation, and I go through and I say, hey, we know your time is very valuable. We're gonna try to really finish pretty quickly because we have an appointment right after this as well, and we'll try to honor your time. So just let me know if we run over time. I'll just acknowledge that, and then we'll make sure we're out of here. Okay. So I'm gonna talk to them later. If I find that we're 45 minutes in already, I'm just gonna ask them if we're okay. So that's one thing I do. Make sure I do and watch a clock, like Shaq says. So one of 3 things usually happens when we show this. Sometimes all 3. One, people get really excited about what we do, so they start thinking about people that can benefit. And if so, Calvin, I would really appreciate if you think about anybody, I really appreciate if you share those names with Orlando. I don't say with me, I don't say with us, I say with Orlando, right? Because it's all in 3 is partnerships that we're always looking to form. So we are always expanding and looking for great people. We just opened up an office at Friend Heights ourselves. So by the way, has anybody ever done financial work for you at all, Peter and Tia? Okay, great. This will be a great learning experience for us then. So that's literally how I present it. I'm not like too hype over the kitchen table because an interview is where you should be hyped. Then the KT is where you're trying to get a check. So you can't be too excited to get a check from somebody because they're going to get nervous. Right, Shay? Right. So you have to be very serious. And if they're not paying attention, you just stop. And you just say, okay, I'll just wait for, your husband to come back. That happened a lot. We were in that appointment for 2 hours because he kept leaving they had 8 kids. So like the kids were all around the place. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. So let's talk about today's financial crisis. How to look out there for most families these days, Tom? Really good or not so good? Right, I agree. The average American household with just one credit card has almost 16 grand in credit card debt. 76% of us live paycheck to paycheck. 95 million U.S. adults have no life insurance. And more than half of us workers, we work hard, but we still have less than 25 grand saved for retirement. And that may not be you, but you may know some people like that, don't you? Referral seed. But the way that these financial companies have been responding, especially let's say you go to the bank, are they trying to get us out of debt or what are they trying to do? Put us in debt, right? Every time you go or even to a store, they're always offering you a credit card. We're approaching $1 trillion of credit card debt now, and that's not even as high as student loans, is it? And that's when they're like, yeah. So now like they may be in a little bit of debt. So I'm just collecting data, right? For most of us workers, our wages have been flat or falling for decades, regardless of whether the economy has been adding or subtracting jobs. Because how hard is it, Tia, for most people to find better work these days? Very. On top of that, America's 3 biggest banks earn more than $6 billion off ATM and overdraft fees in 1 year. That's 3 banks out of many banks that exist. Do you want to take a wild guess, you guys, what banks they were? Number 1. Number 2. Chase, right? Now, if they don't guess it, I'll say, have you ever heard about Chase? I try to turn it into a question. They're like, oh yeah, they're popping up everywhere. Last night it was like, yeah, they're like in Congress Heights Southeast, and I don't understand why they're opening that up. That makes a lot of sense now, right? Yeah. So look at it. If you look at that, Peter and Tia, if you look at that statistic, they're making money on a $6 billion on overdraft fees. That means they're making money on people that don't have what? Money. And then financial advisors, they're very reluctant to even help us as clients who don't have deep pockets. And what does that mean to you? Right. So our company is not a traditional financial company. We are founded by a high school football coach and a teacher. I say it just like that. And I want to see the reaction. And because like it really relates them, I guess, to the company, because now all of a sudden we're on the same level, right? Like we come from the same place. We're not from this rich area. We're not wealthy. This founder was middle income also, right? So Art Williams, his dad, unfortunately was ripped off specifically by a life insurance company. And when his dad passed away, his mother received 15 grand from the policy. But years later, after the fact, he found out that the premium he was paying could have left his mother $150,000. That's a big difference, isn't it? Right? You would be upset, wouldn't you? And so it's still going on to this, unfortunately. So he started our company to right a wrong in that industry to help people become proper protected, and the money that they don't need to overpay for anymore, we help them become debt free with that and financially independent. And how many families need that help? Every family. So this is our company. Have you heard about us? Okay, so it's okay. I've never heard about our company either because we don't advertise, and I'll go through that a little bit later. If that's okay. We've been around since 1977, 42 years. We're now the largest financial services company in North America with over 130,000 licensed representatives. We have more than 7 million clients combined between insurance and investments, over $700 billion of life insurance in force, and over $60 billion of assets that we manage, which just means we manage a lot of money. But we used to be a part of Citigroup. Have you guys heard about the bank? That's it. Okay. So when Citibank was going through some economic turmoil, they tried to take us with them. And luckily, we separated from them in time, and we became the number one IPO, number one new stock for people to invest in April 2010. When the economy was down, we were number one. Yeah, and that's when they're like, whoa. Like a more affluent person will know what an IPO is, but if I feel like I'm not in that affluent of a market, I'll break it down like that and make sure they know what an IPO means. Last night, these guys were business owners, and it was really hard for me to get the couple on the same page with me because the kids were running around. So I said, so this would be really good for you guys as business owners as you grow, because one day you may get so big, you will get so big that people are going to want to buy a piece of your company. Isn't that true, Calvin? Right. So when you release your stock to the public for the first time, you'll be called an IPO. Right. So like I kind of like just threw it out there so that they could pay attention a little bit more, because now I'm talking about them and their business. Right. I just try to be creative. So now we're also named on Forbes as one of America's top 50 most trustworthy financial companies and top 10 most stable places to work. So pretty cool also. Now, what we actually do, we find that most people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. Cliche, but wouldn't you agree with that, Peter and Tia? Right. So a lot of companies, all they want to do is sell us products. They don't really give us a solution. What I mean by that is your 401k company, they don't care if you have life insurance. Your life insurance company doesn't care if you pay your mortgage. And your credit card companies, who do they care about? Right, nobody but themselves. So our solution is called a financial needs analysis, F&A for short. Basically just a financial GPS that helps you get from point A to point B. Because if you think about it like a real GPS, where do you want to travel if you haven't been to yet? Vietnam. Okay, if you get in a plane to Vietnam, you haven't been to Vietnam, huh? What? That's wrong. I've been to Vietnam. I don't even speak Vietnamese. So, all right. So if you got into a plane and the pilot was not using a GPS and you're trying to get to Vietnam, what's going to happen? You're going to get really what? Lost. And in the sky, that's a really big problem, isn't it? Right. So in the same sense, most people, they get to like 65, 67, whatever their retirement plans are, and they get financially lost. They look back and they're like, where's all my money? I've been working all these years and I have nothing to show for it. Isn't that true? So there's a couple things about our program. One is 100% confidential, just like doctors, lawyers, we have licenses. We can't disclose your information to the public or else. Two, it's 100% customized. And Tia, what do you think I mean when I say customized? It's made perfect. Your goals, your dreams, they're completely unique for you. You get your own plan, right? So it's not a cookie cutter or one size fits all. Everybody's different. And then last but not least, it's 100% complimentary or 100% free for our clients. In lieu of the fee, we ask that our families refer us to other people like themselves. so we can just continue doing business. Is that fair? Okay, this is like the same script that Shaq's been teaching literally for the last years I've been here, right? Yeah. So a lot of people think we're just a life insurance company because of how we were founded, but they don't really realize everything that we do from all the partners that we have. Do you see any partners that you recognize? Okay, who do you recognize?
AIG, Bright House, like Mason,
Perfect. So how do you know about these companies?
I knew them through
Commercials, TV, radio, advertising, right? Now, if you own a business and you're trying to put your name out there on a TV or radio advertising, is that a lot of money or a little bit? A big expense. So if you're a company and you're trying to pay for a big expense like advertising to get your name out there, isn't it true you have to make up for that expense at the end of the day by charging your customers more? Right. So a lot of these companies don't even want to sit down with our families because we don't have what? Money. So we call ourselves the Walmart of financial services. Because if you go to Walmart, you can buy what? Anything, right? So in the same sense, we can help a family with every single financial concern. What we do doesn't make us different. Who we financial, for example, they know they can't compete against us. Lincoln only has 5,000 to 8,000 representatives, whereas we have 130,000. And I do it exactly like that in the kitchen table. They're like, whoa, because I just said it earlier, like you didn't hear me, you know? Like now it's like, oh yeah, you did say that. 130,000. So who can bring in more volume, right? So because we can bring in more volume and they can't even compete with us one-on-one, they'll create a product and service that only we can offer through them. And when we find them a client, they pay us in the back end, so we never have to charge you for our time. Is that fair? Win-win, isn't it? Yeah. So this is from a lot of leaders that came in, and I forgot what his name was. He was under College Temple. And he came in and he talked. So I took a little bit from him and just pieces of the puzzle, and it just started. So we also have calculate net worth. And the company has over 7 million clients. I myself and our team, we have over 200 clients, and they're like, whoa, you know? And so all of them are different demographics though. Some of the clients that we work with that are, you know, they're more set financially. They kind of know what their situation is. You know, now they just want to know they can pay less fees and switch somewhere else, right? But there's some of the families that are like my mother who don't even speak English, for a matter of fact. They don't even understand what a net worth is. They don't even know how to define it. And so they kind of live through their life kind of working day to day and hope that life will work out for itself. Isn't that true? It may not be the right way to go about it, but how can we really plan accordingly if nobody else really wants to help us? We also establish your financial independence number. And before I define that, it could be different for either one of you, but what does financial independence mean to you guys, Tia and Peter?
I can buy anything, do anything, whatever I want.
Perfect. And you, Peter? Okay, don't have to worry about money, right? Perfect. So in the same sense, your financial independence number is a total dollar amount that you have to save up to together in order to live off that money for the rest of your life. So you never have to go back to work anymore, keyword have to. But how many times did we go to Walmart, no offense, and we see an much older looking person and they're greeting people? Do you think they want to be there? They have to be there. Of course, right? And then we also help eliminate debt. I don't know if you're aware, but debt's a big epidemic in this area. And a lot of families, how many families fight over money these days? Put together how to eliminate. And so imagine being debt free, right? Just imagine it. And I just throw that in there, like I want to see what their reaction is. Like, yeah, get them dreaming a little bit. So we also help understand coverage needs. Oh shoot. Yeah, we also help understand coverage needs, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. So one of the things that we're really big on is education, because we were founded by high school football coach, his wife a teacher, right? And so we really lead with such concepts like compound interest. I went to Penn State University, not bragging at all. It literally was the most expensive thing in the whole world to me at the time, international business. In my accounting and finance classes, I saw this concept, but it wasn't taught like this. I got involved with our company partially because I saw this in school, but it never made sense to me. They didn't teach it like this. And when I sat in a 1-hour free money and business seminar years ago, I was so upset because I was sitting in there for free and I had to, you don't spend $200 a day. Do you think maybe, right, just candy for the 15? Okay, and what about you, Peter?
Yeah.
15, so 15 each? Okay, so that's $30 average a day, right? Even if you spend $20 a day, 20 a day times 30 days a month on average, that's $600. And so so that means that you could save $200 a month if you really put your mind to it, couldn't you? Okay, so now I'm making sure that they just said that they could put aside $200 a month. Now I can get an ad. So they just said that they could put aside $200 a month if they put their mind to it. So when I try to close, they're not going to tell me they can't do a $76 ad because you just told me you can put $200 a month aside outside of your $600 you're spending, right? So I just made them say that it's a really good seed to just throw there, courtesy of Louise, right? So where was I? Oh yeah, so let's say you save $200 a month under your mattress, you guys, for 35 years until how old is your youngest child? 3. Liam, right? So Liam is 3. 35 years later, he'll be 38. I know, scary thought. But what if mommy and daddy save $200 a month for 35 years for Liam? At 38, he'll have 84 grand saved up under his mattress. It's a pretty good mattress, right? Yeah. But if you invest it at 3% earnings, it's $148,000. At 6%, it's $286,000. But take a wild guess. What do you guys think it would be at 12%?
400,000.
1.3 million. 1.3 million. And I showed it to you like that to shock you because look at the difference between 6 and 12. That's $1 million difference. People feel like to be a millionaire, they have to be a basketball player or rock star celebrity. That's not true. You have to learn how to save and where to save. And Albert Einstein, you know about him. We know about him. We're forced to learn about him. He said compound interest is the most powerful force in the universe. But if we learned about him in school and he knew that 100 years ago, why don't we know this now? And my mom always talked about being the first generation to graduate college. But what about the first generation to become a cash millionaire in your family, slowly but surely, and leave a family legacy or change your family tree, right? Any questions so far? Okay, so this is where they actually open up, all right? So as far as talking about protecting your income, let's take a typical family. Because I guess this is you guys right now. You only have one child right now, right? Awesome. So any more on the way?
In the future.
In the future? Okay, great. So let's just take a typical family. If wife Tia, you make $3,500 a month, and husband makes $3,500 a month, that's $7,000 coming in, but also $7,000 what going out? And that's to pay for mortgage, cars, car insurance, credit cards, etc. But what do you notice about the type of bills that they have? Yeah, everyday bills, right? You don't see like a boat or like a Lamborghini in there, do you? Oh, so what is the worst thing that can happen to a family financially, do you feel?
Job.
Losing a job. That's really bad. Why is losing a job so bad?
Because you'll lose the 35.
Right, and the $3,500 pays for what?
The bill.
Yeah, everything, right? It keeps a roof on your head, everything. But losing a job is really bad. And it might take you a while, but if you lose a job, you can always what? Get another job. And you lose your income just temporarily, right? Well, what's the worst? What's worse than that? I'm sorry?
Losing it permanently.
Right, and how can that happen?
One of us passes.
Exactly. If God forbid a breadwinner passes away, that's the worst thing that can happen. We believe that if something happens to a breadwinner like that, and half the income permanently is not coming in anymore, now you can't do what you want to do with whoever you want to do it with. There's no way you're going to be paycheck to paycheck, and then you'll have to really depend on somebody. You'll have a lot of money issues. Right? And so if that does happen, and half the income's coming in, do the bills just stop? No. Can the wife keep the house that they worked so hard to get? No, right? So we call life insurance income protection, because when you think about car insurance brings back your car, home insurance brings back your belongings, but life insurance, it doesn't bring back your life, does it? So what it does bring back is the income. We may not be able to bring back the husband, but what it does is bring back the income. And anybody with an income and dependence needs to protect that income. Wouldn't you agree? Right. So I get that right there, because if they say they don't have no insurance, then I'm going to, tie back that down, right? So that's what we help families with also. But on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how would you rate your desire to become properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent, guys? 10? So these are the 4 main concerns that every family normally has in what we call their financial house. Number 1, always debt elimination. Just get me out the fastest way possible, zero me out, right? 2, college savings for their children. Maybe not even just for college, but just in general for their future, because some families don't believe in saving specifically just for college. 3, retirement options outside of what you may or may not have, at work. Because if you were off track for your future personal goals, would you rather find out now or 30 years from now? Yeah. So that's where, if people don't want to do a Roth IRA, you just told me you wanted to find out now. And I'm gonna get you to do a Roth IRA now, because then you're gonna love me later. You may not like me now, but I'm gonna make you save for a Roth IRA. It was really great because Ratna came up to me and she was like, "Hey, you have the most hacks out of everybody that's with your life clients." I was like, "What? What? Me? The $25 a month hacks?" Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty cool to know, right? But yeah, so I really want people to get to save, because I don't want a whole life agent to come in and try to get them to cancel our policy because we didn't help them save and invest the difference. And last but not least, protecting your income with protecting your income permanently with life insurance. Because when you build a house physically, what's the strongest part of the house, Peter? Right. And if you hired me to build your dream house, and you say, "Hey, Jen, this is our budget," Peter, my budget, right? And I say, "Okay, that's great. I'll work within your budget. I'm going to use the cheapest, lowest quality material to build your dream house." Would you ever let me do that? Because any house built on a weak foundation, what happens to the rest of that house? Right, on your family. Isn't that true? So can you see why we always talk about protecting income first before everything else? And that's how I transitioned into going into life insurance. So it's not a life insurance company, because I just told you about the partners that we have. And we're not just going to life insurance because we want to get you, sell your life insurance policy or anything. You just told me that that's the first thing that we need to talk about anyway, right? So that's how I transitioned into that. Any questions, guys? Good? Okay. Is this good? Okay, cool. I'm trying to talk as slow as possible. So how much coverage do you guys currently have? Life insurance. Okay, great. So let's just pretend you don't have any coverage, right? Because if you do have coverage, who knows what to do if they do have coverage? Play it through, but you don't know where the coverage is coming from, though. So the first question before you click through is it through your job or is it private, right? And then you know what your next move should be. So let's just make it simple for everybody and just say you have no coverage, right? No coverage. Okay, that's fine. So I'm going to go over life insurance coverage through your job, just in case you find out you have some, but I also have to make sure that Tom knows how to explain this anyways, right? So I'm not going to go over that, guys, okay? But always show the group life video. Always show it. Never skip that video. I don't care how long you've been in KT, you need to show that, especially if they're like a county person or work as, police officer or any job. I don't care what job it is, right? They could move to a different job later on in the future, like the government, and advance in their career, and they still try to cancel it later on, right? But we know we're going to take care of our clients as much as possible. So, in the best way. So, if they don't have any coverage, then you go through employer coverage. I know Shak goes through the no coverage first. I like to go through the cash value and term. I really don't think it matters, as far as the order, as long as you know how to engage them and, But if you're new in the field, do what your upline does. If your upline, Shay says do no coverage first, do no coverage. If Shaq says that, cool. But Shaq told me don't change anything that's already working for me. So that's what I do. I just, want to put that as a disclosure, okay? So I do cash value first, and I explain there's 2 types of ways to privatize your life insurance. So once I get the commitment of how we never depend on our group life insurance, then I say, okay, great. So can you see why we always recommend you privatize your life insurance? And where you have full control. Perfect. There's 2 ways to privatize. There's one way, which is called cash value, mostly known as whole life, universe. Have you heard about maybe those terminologies? Right? Maybe Gerber Life commercials. Have you seen those? And people are like, yeah, right? All over Southeast is all Gerber Life. Then the second way is term. And term is pure life insurance. Term is the best way to go because you pay the least for the most coverage, and it's just insurance. Just like medical insurance, auto insurance, it's just insurance. When you pay it, you have it. You don't pay it, you don't have it, right? But the way that most agents offer people is cash value, which seems good, but it's not really good. It's 8 to 10 times more expensive generally because it doesn't have just insurance. It has another component that's seemingly savings. So it's called cash value for a reason. It's never defined as savings in your policy. So I know you're not asking for this information, Peter and Tia. You're just helping Orlando with his training. But I never want somebody to knock on your door and try to offer you something and you don't even know how to read it, right? So let's just make sure that you know exactly before it even happens to you, right? Hopefully, God forbid it won't. So then, how do I click on cash value? Okay. Yeah, so I go through this, and I'm not going to go through it right now, but I go through this and then go back to term. I do want to do the term slide. So then once I kill cash value, then I go to term, and then I say, hey, have you guys ever heard about Dave Ramsey or Susie Orman? And most people don't see facial recognition. And so if they do have facial recognition, I'll just read one of the quotes, right? If they don't, I'll just say, oh, they're a public financial advisor. They have nothing to do with us, but they teach the same concepts or we teach the same concepts as them, as they do. So Dave Ramsey says term life insurance is the only insurance I recommend. It's the least expensive way to get the coverage your family needs. It's more affordable than you think. Susie says most of us only need a life insurance policy for a set period of time until the toddlers are adults and supporting themselves, or until we have time to build up our own assets. So that's the exact same thing that we just mentioned earlier, because think about it, Tia and Peter, if you have $300,000 of cash saved up, no dependents, and would you really be worried about paying for a $300,000 policy still? No. So do you really need life insurance your whole life? No, as long as you have the money, you're fine, right? It'll give you a very low quality term. And the term in the industry works like this. So one, do you think these companies help you invest on the side so that one day you never have to pay them anymore, Tia? Of course not. So when your term, like if it's a 10, 20, 30-year term, when it quote unquote ends, now they're going to say, Peter and Tia, this is why you should have done cash value in the beginning, right? This is why we told you should have done cash value in the beginning. But because they never helped you save because they didn't want to, that's why you feel like you still need to pay for life insurance. Does that make sense? But even if you wanted to renew that term and keep it, they would make it very unaffordable for you as far as the renewal rates. One of my clients was going to go from $76 a month to $800 a month. Who's going to pay $800 a month for a life insurance in retirement time? And we don't even want to pay that for mortgage or rent, right? And then even if my client wanted to pay $800 a month, right, she would have to reprove her health in most cases to even keep the policy. But what's the chances you'll be healthier at 63 versus 53, right? So when it comes to life insurance, we call ourselves a one-trick pony. And you ever heard that term before? Or you know what I'm saying? No. Okay. So when you see a pony at a show with one trick, it better be a good trick, right? So in a good way, we call ourselves a one-trick pony. We only offer term life when it comes to life insurance. Everything else is about making sure we help you get out of debt, save for your future or your kids' future, right? So there's a couple of benefits that make us the best term in the industry. And I'm not going to read all of it, but we have a terminal illness rider up to 70%. So this is where I go into close mode, guys. And I want to see if I can get them to commit to actually do business with me. So we have a terminal illness rider up to 70%. If you are unfortunately diagnosed with cancer, you're still alive, but we're trying to save you, right? If you have a $100,000 policy, just for easy numbers, example sake, and 70% of that is 70 grand. So if you get terminally ill, you can get up to 70 grand of cash just to help us make sure that we can pay for the best medical treatment. Because God forbid, isn't the difference between living and dying money? Right. And so we want to make sure you get the best medical treatment. Okay. If you don't use all of it, hopefully you put it back in or you save it, don't spend it. But hopefully you don't need to use that benefit. However, it'd be good if you could, right? We're rated A+ on AIM's Best, a third-party rating company. Only 15% of companies get that rating. We believe in one policy per family because haven't you ever seen those families or heard of families? This is a referral fee. Haven't you ever seen one of those families that say, oh yeah, we're good. We have like 5 different policies, right? That's actually not good, Peter and Tia, because that means they're paying 5 different policy fees versus just one and having more room to save on the side. And that's what we want you to have, right? And then 93% of our claims are paid within 14 days. The reason why our claims process is much faster than a lot of companies out here is because we do what most companies don't. We meet the beneficiary if it's not each other, emergency contacts in case I couldn't reach either one of you in case something happened. One of my clients passed away. And am I good on time? Am I good on time? Okay. So one of my clients had passed away. Him and his wife became my clients in July 2017. They separated in October, a couple months later, and they changed their beneficiaries respectively. His to his 37-year-old daughter, who's not her daughter. One, there was a lot of family drama going on, but I did meet with her as a new beneficiary meeting, and I went over how our process works for just 10 minutes. That was November. In December, Dad passed away of a heart attack on the job at Safeway. 2 hours after that happening, she called my cell phone to you. No one time did she have to call 1-800-Primerica. Not one time did she even have to leave the house for the mailbox for us. I called the company, and instead of waiting for the paperwork to come in, I came to her that same day, dropped off the paperwork, picked it back up on Thursday a couple of days later. She never had to leave the house for us at all. But what I had to do for her, I had to call the job life insurance for her. Nobody came from the job life insurance. I had to call the job life insurance for her. I'm not even a representative of their company, and I had to watch this girl repeat 3 different times while they were transferring her to the claims department, 3 different times that she just lost her dad, her best friend. And so when we paid out $100,000, no questions asked, he was only my client for 6 months. And what company will pay no questions asked when you're our client for less than 6 months? So can you see why you should have life insurance with our company? And that's the commitment question that I get. So then I go into the commitment questions for the no insurance, which I'm not going to do. You just read the questions basically. And once they say, yeah, they'll commit to putting money on the side, and there'll be no reason why they wouldn't implement the program, right? And then you go into dime. So when you go to dime, you transition, and I'm pretty sure everybody does that. You transition and you say, has anybody ever helped you calculate the coverage you actually need? Okay, well this is a great exercise that we use called dime, and it stands for specifically what you see on the screen here. The first thing we attack is your debt first, because God forbid something happened to you, Peter and Tia. Would you guys want your debts to roll down to each other or your children? Right, and if you had all the money in the world to write a check just right now to zero out all your debt, including mortgage, car loan, and anything with an APR attached to it, just rough number, how much would you need to write that check for? Okay, same thing. Okay, so I'm just writing it down. I'm not going to show them anything. I mean, some people would look, but not really. They don't even know what you're doing, right? So, God forbid something happened to you tomorrow, would you want to make sure that your kids, and your son's name again is Liam? Okay, great. So Liam's education, would you want to make sure his education is taken care of? God forbid you're not here. Okay, so I check mark that, like Shaq said, right? We don't show anything anymore. We also, of course, deal with we cover death and final expenses for funeral. But let's say, God forbid, you don't come home tomorrow. Peter, if something, God forbid, happened to you tomorrow, how much would you need to leave behind per month for Tia, just to make sure she maintains the same standard of living? And before you answer, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, $2,000 or more. Okay, is that good for you? 2,000. Okay. And so I asked the wife to confirm. Never ask the wife first. Ask the husband first. Then you ask the wife, right? Because the wife's gonna close the husband. So 2,000. And Peter, Tia, if something happened to you tomorrow, is that the same thing for you? How much you would leave for? Okay, perfect. 2,000. So I'm gonna crunch some numbers for you guys. And but I know I didn't ask you this before. I'll ask you now. If you did pass away tomorrow, God forbid, would you want to make sure that your family is better off, the same, or worse? Better off. And how much per month would you be willing to set aside? I don't look down on my paper all the time. How much per month would you be willing to set aside to help take care of this need? And before you answer, this is each, right? So 50 to 100, 100 to 150, 150 or to 200, or 200 plus each. 200 plus each? Okay, I'm going to beat these market. So I'll write that down. Then I repeat it back to them. So if I found something that fit within your family's budget for 200 each, right? That would be something that works within your budget. It would be comfortable for you. Okay, perfect. So I just got the commitment. So this is where I go into referrals. I'm not going to do the whole referral script, but I'll ask 3 questions. By the way, did you feel comfortable with the way that I presented myself today? Perfect. Did I answer all your questions regardless of whether you asked them or not? Perfect. And then did I provide any value to you today at all? Okay, perfect. The reason why I asked is because the biggest compliment to me and one of my biggest responsibilities, again, is to help Tom with more places to go and more people to see, right? Now, normally I ask for 5 to 10 introductions to other families like yourself who are generally responsible, family-oriented. And I've done that training before, so, I'm not going to go through all of it. So that's how I transition into that. So as I crunch these numbers, I'm going to have you work with Orlando, and he'll just go through some introductions with you, okay? And so Orlando already knows this is his job now. I'll help him a little bit, right? So if he starts saying, do you know anybody? I'll interrupt and say, hey, who do you know, right? And then he'll take care of that. And the trainee already knows what to do. By the way, before they start working with with the trainee, by the way, what are your birthdays? Okay, perfect. So if you can just work with Orlando on that, I'll just crunch some numbers. Do you guys use tobacco at all, by the way? Okay. So then I create the quotes. Once I do the quote, I quote highest, middle, lowest. So highest, middle, lowest. And when you're experienced in the field as a trainer, you'll know like what to quote them and all of that. So we're not going to go into all that. But I don't show the coverage that I'm going to quote them because I don't want them when I do dime, because I don't want them to be stuck on that number. Because some people actually need probably like 300,000, but they can only probably afford 150 based on their budget. So you don't want to sticker shock them. So then we go through. I actually don't do this, you guys. I don't know if that's bad or not, but I know Peter and Tia do very well. So, but I've already pretty much explained it in the presentation, if that makes sense, right? I already explained it to them as far as buy term invested difference when I talk about Dave Ramsey and Susie Warren. So I showed them the quotes, they picked the quote, and once they picked the quote, and I said, okay, so this is the one that's most comfortable for you. All right, perfect. So do you know how qualification works for life insurance? Should I do the process close? Yeah. Okay. So I pull this up. Sometimes I just draw it out, but it's better to pull it up so your trainee can learn better, right? So normally it takes 4 to 6 weeks for a qualification period because life insurance isn't something you can just buy. You have to qualify medically for it. It's like if you want $1 million loan from your bank, they're not just going to give it to you. They have to check your credit. In this case, we don't. We check your health, right? Bring your doctor's records. And so what happens first is we take a good faith deposit, an application, a 5-minute application with a good faith deposit equal to your first month's premium. And I write it down just like that. So that comes out as a deposit, not as a pay. If you, God forbid, we have to decline you, you get that back. If you get approved, then we can decide whether to go down or not, right? But we get that deposit in, and then Ratna, our office manager, she'll call you. Hopefully I get 5 stars for today's performance, right? But Ratna has nothing to do with me. She just wants to make sure customer service-wise that you understood the same process, right? And she's going to go through everything I'm talking about right now with you. Now, if the company has extra questions, they're going to call you directly for a tele-underwriting interview. And if you see a random number, just call you and leave you a voicemail in regards to questions, medical questions. Just pick up or call them back. It's only a 10-minute call. They just want to ask the same questions I'll ask you. Then if they're not doing medical, I don't do a lot of custom advantage. But if they are, then you'll explain the medical exam, right? When is the best day to send them a medical examiner over? But once the medical exam is done, the results are sent to the lab with the underwriting department. They're the ones that are going to decide whether or not you qualify. And once they issue the policy, if they decide to, a couple of things can happen. You said you don't smoke or use tobacco at all. So there could be really a good chance maybe you may come out a little bit healthier than you actually are, and you'll be way happier with me. Best case scenario, next to best case scenario, you'll qualify exactly as you applied for. But if anything comes out like different, then I have to come back anyways, and I have to go through your policy with you because now we actually have something hard to look at and think about, right? So I know you guys need time to think about it, but is 4 to 6 weeks enough time for you to think about it while we can see if we can get you medically qualified? Perfect. I just need your IDs and ask you medical questions. And then boom, I just close. And I just click the app, and then we set up a second time to go do a Roth IRA, and then I also invite them to opt. So that's what I'm doing more too. I'm learning to recruit over the kitchen table because now that I'm in the field more, I find that the time with interviews versus KT, I want to be in the field more. And since clients are 50% recruited, I'm working on that transition right now. I'm not there yet. But yeah, any questions, guys?
A lot of term now. Does it matter?
If it comes out quicker, then I'll call them and I'll say, hey, I have really good news. Do you want to hear it now or hear it later? They'll be like, oh yeah, tell me right now. So this is how I congratulate them because it is a big deal because we don't qualify everybody, right? I heard it on one training somewhere. I don't know if the percentage is accurate anymore right now, but hey, 33% of our applicants, they get declined, Peter and Tia. And because we're not one of those companies that just make it so easy for you to qualify and then make it so hard for your family to receive the claim if something does happen. And during 9/11, only 3 insurance companies paid out, and we were one of those 3. So we did the application for you, and you came back, and they said yes to you. You qualified. Yeah, so then they're like excited, like, oh my God, thank you so much. Yeah, right? Yeah, they're so excited. Like, people are so excited to qualify. It's great. So I'm like, okay, great. So I'm just waiting for your policy to come in the mail, you guys. So I'm going to give you guys a call back as soon as it comes into the office, and then we're going to go back and I'm going to answer any more questions you may have and go over your benefits again with you. Does that sound fair? Perfect. By the way, did you tell the referrals that we were going to give you a call? Because I tried to, call them, and some of them were not aware that we were going to call, right? So I'll just put that in there. I tried to call the referrals and try to get you. Oh yeah. So they're in a happy mood now. So yeah, they'll call the referrals hopefully. So that's what I do to congratulate people, so that they are happy, and it's not just, oh yeah, I have another bill, to pay for, like what people think it is. Only, even though they waste money all day every day. So most people. Other questions? No? No? Okay, thank you guys.
Pros get paid, amateurs don't. Right? Pros get paid, amateurs don't get paid. You gotta become a pro. All right, so let me finish up with a couple things that we're gonna go over. Let me get you out of here. So, Thomas put up the slide. How many days? 19 days. All right. When I take my kids to the doctor or something, a lot of things, things come up. I'm a very paranoid parent. And so, is it laryngitis? Is it this? Is it that? I just want to make sure, my kids are okay. They go to the doctor, and the doctor's diagnosed. And this isn't just with my kids. My dad, right? My dad has many health issues, right? He gets bronchitis. His immune system is bad. Sometimes he even gets chest pain and things like that. So you can never be too careful, right? And the worst part about it is sometimes you go to these doctor's appointments and they cannot tell you what's going on, right? And so you are literally, the good thing for me is I have a lot of family members that are doctors. The bad thing is I have a lot of family members that are doctors. So they're all, what are the symptoms? What are this? What are that? And they're always trying to diagnose what the real problem is. Okay. And for you, right? Let's talk. May is almost over. Month end is Monday at 6:00. You, right? You, not. I'm not talking to the person next to you. I'm talking to you. Okay, you guys here on Friday morning. Many of you come religiously, consistently. You're putting the time in. A lot of you, okay? Not you, but have all your licenses. Okay? Do you? Sure. So I'm right. How long are you going to take it? How long are you going to take this job that you have, having no money, being broke, right? And that's not me knocking you. I've been there. How long? How long are you going to accept it? When are you going to change, right? There's symptoms to everything. You got to diagnose your problem. And here's the thing, right? My brother, my younger brother, my wife's younger brother, Nasser, right? A lot of you guys know him. Real nice guy. He started a year ago his own law firm. He got him and 4 people that they went to law school. They started a personal injury law firm. And the office that they're in, right next to them in Michigan, there's a Primerica office, right? And so he's like, yeah, man, it's crazy because, on Thursday night, they do their op meeting. And I just remember me coming to my op meetings and this and that and coming and, and he's one of like some of you guys that remembers like everything that I said, but I don't remember it. He's I remember you said this. I'm like, what? I never said that. He's like, yeah, I did. I remember. And I probably did say it. It was extremely inappropriate and crude, and I can't believe I said some of those things. But so he would say things like that, and he always remembers. And when he started his firm, okay, when he got started, he said, I don't know where to start. What should I do? Okay, and he was recruited in Primerica. He had all his licenses. Okay, when he was with me, that was when I was in my prime. Okay, like Kobe 81 prime, like averaging 35 a night prime. Okay, that was him. Everybody around me got licensed, got securities license. Every single person. That's what you did. So the first thing I told him, okay, what do you think I told him? What do you think I told him? First thing. Hold on, let's guess. I want you to write down. Because this is universal in anything that you want to do. Self-improve. No, but that's a good one. Huh? What did I say? What did I exactly say? Along your lines. Find somebody who has what you want. Find out what they do. No. The law firm. I said, find somebody who has what you want. Interview them, talk to them, and then do what they did. That is the first step in anything. Look, you right now, okay, where I am right now, right? I want to level up too. I want to go to the next level too, right? I mean, it's not. I have a coach. I have somebody. What are you going to do on your own? What can you do? You definitely can't do this business. I'm telling you that right now. But even then, like, what can you? I'm into fitness. Could I be fit without somebody telling me what to do? No. I would come up with my freaking own ideas and I would do nothing. You know, I played sports. I always had, and you played sports, right? You were pretty good. You're a really good basketball player. Really good basketball program. You played varsity. That's a freaking big deal. You got 500-600 kids in a class, and there's only, basketball team is very hard. There are only like 12 people, right? Have anybody ever played sport before? How did you do under a weak coach? How did you do? You became weak. So you got to find somebody, and then, right? And you know why? You know where this is all going. And there's a lot of sprinkling this in. Okay, because always remember, there's a very small community. Very small, especially this office. Okay. Now I am in a healthy way removed from a lot of stuff, but I still get a lot of stuff. So even though I may not ask about you all the time, and you think that I always do ask about you, maybe not all the time. When I talk to Jen, I always ask her who was there, who didn't show up. So I know, Robert, if you're not coming on Tuesdays. Okay, I know. I look at the sheet, and I'll see who's registered and who's not for our convention that comes every 2 years. Then I'll ask you. Hey, Shondell, what's up with this person? And Shondell is smart. She won't tell me what the person said. She'll forward me the text. Because she doesn't want it to come out of her mouth.
Yeah.
Because she might get clobbered.
Yeah.
I didn't say it. Bosh said. Well, it's my 6-month anniversary. Well, you got married? No, girlfriend. Well, actually, she doesn't know we're dating, but we're almost. Maybe 6 months though. Right. You're almost there. So let for you, right? For you got to diagnose yourself, man. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing Primerica? Why do you have a coach? Why are you where you are? Good or bad? What have you done that has made you successful? What's the difference between you and somebody that's successful? You got to look at some of these things, right? You got to police yourself a little bit. This is about success, man. This is about money. This is about winning. This is about freaking changing your life, man. I don't know what it is, man. I mean, there's millions of things. It could be as freaking trivial as a car, but you're freaking tired of freaking having a shitty ass car, or eating bad food, or renting, or upgrading. I don't know, man. Or having that terrible job. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. And we have an opportunity right now. Look, at the end of the day, I want everybody to win, and I need people. I don't need you, okay? But I need people, and I want you to win, okay? I do, and that is my job. And every once in a while, I'm not, look, obviously I'm soft with a capital T now. Okay, that's just the truth. I am. I admit that. Okay, but once in a while, for me, it's even enough is enough. For me, and I got to look, man. Not read this book. It's a man. It is the best read about success and perseverance and work. Okay, the entire thing you could highlight. And the TED Talk is amazing. That's only 15 minutes. You should watch that. But reading the book is amazing. Right? So, in the first chapter, if you've heard me talk, it's showing up. Okay, right? It's better. Okay, but it's similar in the fact that how rigorous it is. And I did a year there or semester there, and then I was able to come back. So I was a troubled child, so troubled my parents kicked me out. Okay, imagine that, right? Like, yo, we don't even want you here. Go, and then come back, right? So I know a little bit about this stuff, not much. It was a long time ago. Each year in their junior year of high school, 14,000 applicants begin the admissions process. And they have to get a nomination. And the nomination, it has to be from like a senator. Yeah. A politician, usually a senator. Only 4,000 even get the nomination of the 14,000. Okay? 2,500 of the 14,000 originally meet the rigorous academic and physical standards to have the meeting. And then 1,200 are admitted and enrolled. Okay, so from 14,000, 1,200. Nearly all the men and women who came to West Point were varsity athletes. Most were team captains. At least 1 in 5 cadets will drop out before graduation. What's more remarkable is that historically, most of them drop out in the first summer because of a 7-week training program called the Beast. And then she goes and she talks about the Beast and how hard it is and how rigorous it is and how how it trains you it tests you militarily, psychologically. It's like torture. Think about that. This is a paying institution. These people pay to go there. Thousands of dollars. And they want to weed you out for the prestige of it. Okay? So that's first. Okay? It is the most arrogant thing in the world to think that this business is easy. Because you pay a little bit of money, you can get it refunded, and you have a soft head coach right now. Not right this second, but more, if you don't want to win for your family, if you don't, what am I going to do to you? What am I going to do for you? I'm at that point in my career. I cannot do it for you. Okay? I want to, I promise, and I've done it. And the truth of the matter is, not only have I done it, I did it, like, I had 50 people in a full-timer meeting when I was a regional leader. Have 5. That's all I care. You don't even have to do close what I did. Just do a fraction. So I can say, I'm qualified to tell you. So who makes it through? And they went on, they tried to create a composite score based on IQ, intelligence, fitness, and it was all about perseverance. Apparently, it was and this is the biggest thing in the world. Okay, apparently it was critically important and not at all easy to keep going after failure. Some people are great when things are going well, but they fall apart when things aren't. High achievers described in these interviews really stuck it out. They weren't the best. They were clumsy, but they got better and better as time went by. So now she started a new interview process where she started asking questions about perseverance. Half of the questions were about perseverance. They asked how much you agree with statements like, I have overcome setbacks to conquer an important challenge, and I finish whatever I begin. The other half questions were about passion. They asked whether your interests change from year to year. And the extent to which you have been obsessed with a certain idea or project for a short time, but later lost interest. Talented cadets. In other words, how talented a cadet was. So she studied the West, West Point. The next arena I went to was sales. The next arena where I tested grit's power was sales, a profession in which daily, if not hourly, rejection is part of the course. I asked hundreds of men and women employed at the same vacation timeshare company to answer a battery of personality questions, including the grit scale. 6 months later, I revisited the company, by which time 55% of the sales people were gone. Grit predicted who stayed left. So, moreover, no other commonly measured personality trait, including extroversion, emotional stability, and conscientiousness, was as effective as grit in predicting job retention. Then they went to public schools. In Chicago, public schools. Who graduated? Same thing, grit. Went to the spelling bee. So, when we talk about our convention, that's why we're talking about it, because I'm trying to give you the strength, because I know, look, if I'm getting it, and I'm getting it from a lot of people, okay? If the shoe fits for you, wear it, that's cool. Like I said, at the end of the day, I make the money I make because I have a core group. You don't have a core group. You have to develop a core group. And my core group, they were forged through fire. Okay? And that fire was me. Okay? If they could withstand me, they were going to be successful here because I was a freaking train of a person to be around. I'm not saying that good or bad. I was just absolutely crazy, insane to be around in Primerica. And so my core group that were around me, we were like a gang almost. Hard to get in, but you couldn't leave. We'd kill you. Okay? I'm not joking about this. You are where you are because you don't have a core group. And until you're part of a core group, you can't develop a core group. Because until you're serious about something, you're going to get distracted. You're going to pull in all different directions. And then what? You know, you're going to kind of try to, look, you build this business. This is the Friday meeting with serious people. You don't do it with definitely don't do it with spare timers. Maybe some part-timers. I'm married. I've played sports. I went to college. I had degrees. This is harder. I mean, maybe not marriage, but this is harder than any of that. It's grueling. It's freaking intense. And that's what makes it awesome, man. That's what makes it so rewarding. But if you think you can come in here because you got a freaking good degree a certain way, right? You can do a bunch of push-ups, or you got a degree, or your mom told you you're great, or dad told you, that's awesome. Hopefully that's good, but that doesn't mean you can just flatten you like a freaking pancake, man. You start talking to people, you'll cry, go up in the closet, and then quit. And coast off to mediocrity, right? But we're going to build this. If we want to get to the next level, which you got to level up, okay? I want to, hey, man, everybody goes through it. Everybody does awesome, and everybody knows everything when things are going great. When things are bad, that's where we see who you are. Everybody, man. Everybody knows everything. They can say everything. They can check. No. Why am I proud of Jay? Because she doesn't great? But no, because she's freaking paid the price, man. And when another person's paid the price, you have a mutual respect because you say, man, you went through it, I went through it. Dad didn't give me this business. I didn't walk on. No. Blood, sweat, and freaking tears, just like everybody else that is at least got to my level and has many agents as I do. You know, what do we want? Your leftovers of a commitment? You're negotiating with me about what events you can go to and what you can't go to? Why would you think that? What? Like I said, what in your track record has shown you that you're capable of making good decisions when it comes to business or money? Most importantly, at least if you quit, you say you quit. You know what's worse? Lying. No. This is different because of this. That's a lie. That's a lie. You're going back on your goals. You're going back on your promises. I mean, it's not you made to me, to yourself. Telling your computer in there that you persevere no matter what, that you push through no matter what, that if you find an obstacle, you're going to go over it, through it, or around it, or hey, when it gets too hot, I am going to quit because that's what I always do. Now, I'm not going to say I quit. I'm just going to do something different. So ask yourself these questions. These are things. These are closes that you can have to people, okay, that say they want to win, and they say they want to win. Some of them say they want to win, but they don't really want to win. But some of them say they want to win, and they need a leader to freaking push them. Because I tell you, I did a lot of things. But whether it was academics, sports, or anything that I had somebody get every last bit out of it. You know, I used to play on a soccer team, and I was captain. And my coach, he was from Egypt, and it was the first time we hired like an international coach. That's what people do in soccer. They paid like $5,000 for the season. And he would pick me up before every game and drive me to every game. And that car ride in there, he would just coach me on what I see, how to get the most out of my players. And I remember, I'll never forget this. It was 8th grade. He got me a picture of the U.S. national team, right? And he wrote on there, he goes, Shaq, one day I'm going to see your picture on. And I kept that picture up. I don't know if some of you remember coming to my room. I kept that up till I was like freaking 25 years old. Because it was the stupid picture. Because he picked me up and drove me to games and invested that time in it. And when I cut up in practice, boy, he got it. But he could do it because I knew that he cared about me. I knew that he would listen to me and ask me questions and say, hey, you're doing this, and be critical of my game. And you know what? I did nothing. Nothing ever came from that. But it made me a better person. That's why I'm here in Primerica, because people like that in my life. I had teachers, man. I had teachers that I was so smart up until 8th grade. I'm not joking about this. The teachers changed the grading scale for me. They said 90 was an A. They go, no, for you, 95. They go, because you shouldn't miss 5 questions. Well, that's not fair. See, it wasn't about fair. It's about getting the best out of your players. Why are you always on me? I'm not on you. Your family, your goals, your dreams, your pursuit, man, that's what's got to freaking drive you, man. This is not just another event. It's not a Super Saturday where you can check in and check out. No, this is your freaking life, man. This is what you signed up for. You can't be a leader if you don't. Like, what are you going to do? What can I tell Kelvin if I never showed up? What can I tell him? I know it's hard for him. How pregnant is your wife? When'd she do? July. That means by going to the convention, not he's risking not seeing the birth of the child, which is a risk. He might not be married when he comes back. Okay? I mean, but if we all make I can tell him how important it is. Because I made the sacrifices. I want to go to Atlanta in June. That's not like a great place to go. It's like melting hot.
Yeah.
Like Gators Arena. And if you want to be somebody, you got to show up. The room is just full of money. And someone's going to say something that's going to change your life, and you can revisit your why. But anyways, so ask yourself this question. If you've heard this before, this is the truth though. If they were going to pay you $5,000 to go, with the company investing millions of dollars to put on an event for you, is not that important. If you had 10 people going, would you go? Well, what's going to happen first? You're never going to have 10 if you don't think that you're going to have 10. And act like you're going to have 10. If you paid $30,000, right? Samir knows somebody, they bought a travel business. Right? Not a crazy business. There's no overhead, nothing, just the rights of travel. How much did it cost? $15,000 for a travel business. Right? Travel agency that you can run from home. $15,000. If you paid $15,000, would you miss a franchise meeting that comes every 2 years? Forget that. Forget the entrepreneurship, success coach. If it was a job, they gave us one meal, but we were there all day for a week. We had to eat more than once. I had to pay that. Okay? And it was in New Jersey, which means some people flew. They had to pay. What would you do, right? I mean, like you got to get your thinking right, man. And you got to look. There's no shortcuts on this Primerica thing, man. Okay? I wish our business wasn't meetings. It is. Okay? I wish it wasn't. I wish it was convenient and easy, and I could put it in the microwave and press 3 minutes, and 3 minutes later I'd have a lot of money. I wish there wasn't as much rejection. And I wish someone wasn't on my butt all the time too. I stepped out during Jen's training because Bruce called me. Right? That was a nice conversation that we had. Right? He's asking me about our recruiting numbers and where we are and all this stuff. That's not like, it's like, dude, I'm not financially independent, but I'm pretty close. I'm making money. I'm like outside of Christian David, I'm or maybe the Chavez, I'm the top person in your hierarchy. No. If I want to get to the next level, what do I expect? Hey, go easy on me? No, not good. What's going to happen if he goes easy on me? I'll be somebody you used to know. That's what will happen. I'll just be another guy. Right? But why be that if we can be praised? What am I going to tell him? Hey, man, please stop. No, you don't understand this and that. You know, I got 3 kids that are all under the age of 6. They need me. They got camps. It's really important. Oh. Like, it's a Friday meeting. You guys are the core group. I shouldn't have to be having conversations about. Now, look, if you're brand new, that's okay. Okay, but everybody else, I shouldn't say, "Why aren't you registered?" Man, it's a freaking convention, man. You're lucky I don't freaking chop your head off. Because back in the day, you get hit for something stupid like that. I don't know if you registered. He's thinking that the whole time. Like, I really don't. The next 6 months you'll get it. Yes. But you got to be tough. Your people, your recruits, they need a tough. They need somebody that can look them in the eye and say, "Hey, man, this is going to change your life." And you believe it with certainty. I always believed it. It was the next meeting, the next recruit, the next appointment, the next referral. I believed it with 100% certainty. Never let anybody take my focus. Right? When you're distracted, man, anybody can take what like I said, that book said, right? You go from things from stop to stop. You have so many interests. Yeah, that's cool. You'll never be great at anything. You don't freaking let your roots grow, right? And I'm not trying to give you the renewal speech, but it's just, look, this convention is for all of us, right? I know it seems to be for all of us, man. I'm going there. My business went flat for the last 2 years, right? I mean, have we moved up? Yeah, because some people are down, some people are up. But overall, I mean, now what some of the other people are doing, I got to go take my lumps too, man. I got to go there. I got to go there and see people passing me, maybe get some recognition, maybe watch some of you guys get recognition, which is awesome. But my butt will be burning within 1 hour of the event, and I'll be upset. But that's what we do, man. This is the life we chose, man. I can't always like all the good parts, right? And this Primerica has forged me into what I am today. It's always came a little, not a lot, but a little bit easier because of this business, man. And that's what I want for you, man. Not just the money. Money's awesome, but I want more of that. I want you to be a great person and achieve whatever you want. And we got 20, how many days? 19 days to get all of the registrations in. We need leadership. Here's the agenda, okay, just so people know. So the RVP meeting and above, RVP and above meeting is at 7 to 9 on Wednesday. Okay. 9:30 to 11:30 p.m. is the Atlanta's Builders Bash. Okay, that's for qualified. Thursday. Okay. So there are no, and I was mistaken on this. I didn't know this. I was talking to Josh the other day. There are no district leader this workshop. There's only workshops, different types of workshops. So, go get something out of the command. You're gonna go get something out of it, right? The partnership workshop, right? Go, man, see other partners. The Hispanic workshop, okay, which some of you will turn into a partnership workshop. Okay? Hey, please. 9 a.m. The African American workshop, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Okay, this is Thursday morning. 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. The technology workshop, 1:30 to 4:30 p.m. The Women in Primerica. Canada breakout, we don't have any of that. 5 to 11 is a hierarchy night. Our hierarchy night is Thursday, 6:30 to 8:30. Short and sweet, 6:30 to 8:30 on Thursday. Friday, general session. (8 a.m. to 12:30). The Millennial and Gen Z. What's Gen Z? Is that younger than Millennial?
Yeah.
What are you? 1 to 4 on Friday. Millennial and Gen Z. 2 to 5, protect and invest. I guess that's life insurance and investments. Boot camp or workshop. 2:30 to 5:30, office manager workshop. Okay, that might be great for you to go. 7 to 11, general session 2. Okay, that's Friday, 7 p.m. Saturday, you pulling it up? Okay. Saturday, 8 a.m. to 1, general session 3. 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. closing general session. Okay. With all the knowledge, every book you've read, every person influencing you, your best decisions have led you to where you are right now. Okay. And she says this in the book too. Hey, let me answer first. What was I saying?
For your making the best decisions, it's like.
Right. You know, she talked about that. She said, you know, when she talked about the West Point people, that nothing saved them except for their daily decisions to keep going. Nothing saved them. It wasn't anything they did in the past. It was daily decisions going forward, right? I know, you know, people get their minds twisted a little bit when they've been here for a little bit and things go wrong. Okay? And I really want to address that because Lee said something to me a long time ago, not a long time ago, recently. You just said it under your breath about a recruit that you had. And he said, you know, this recruit is no longer coming around because she felt like she had to give up her life, right? Can you say that to me? Look, one, that's nonsense. Okay, but two, look, you know why that did happen to me. You know why my friends were not. If I had my friends right now, I don't know where I'd be. And Primerica exposed that people were not supportive in my life. People had no ambition in their life. They had no goals in their life. They were going in the wrong direction. Okay, and my friends, I'll be honest with you. Okay, and this isn't a good environment for me. They have substance abuse problems. Right? My friends, they have gambling addictions. My friends are not married anymore. And it wasn't the marriage's fault. It was their fault. Some marriages run their course. I get that. No, my friends were to blame. I needed a change of scenery. I'm happy with myself. Like I said, I got sent to military school. I had the worst relationship in the world with my parents. I love my parents more than anything in the world. I did this business to prove my dad that I was something. My dad was so disappointed in me. This business, man, it taught me, it wasn't like, no, yes. I mean, just like a law school student is committed to law, just like a college athlete has study hall and all these things, I was determined and focused, but that didn't make me know. I was just involved in something. Hey, join gyms, join churches, go to whatever you got to go to. I want you to, you're not going to be a recluse and do well in Primerica. But yes, I was paying the price. And when my friends are freaking literally going out Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they got Monday night off or Sunday night off. Yeah, I made an evaluation and say, I don't need those friends. But if your friends are positive and they're encouraging and they're helping you and they're ambitious and driven, go do it. You know, I like to get some counsel from people in my religious community because I need a lot of help. Okay, and I mean that with all humility because that's an area of my life I would like to get better. You know, yeah, my imam, who I guess would be like a priest or a pastor or, you know, something of a leadership position, he doesn't judge me. Okay, he'll tell me that. He'll give me guidance, but if I'm cutting up, like maybe I should be going to optional prayer or study, he's not coming with me. He's leading the prayer. You understand? Like I know a lot of people that like a pastor will go and they'll go to the ballpark and people are probably smoking weed. I would think he's not going to do it with the kids.
Oh my God.
But he'll be there to say, hey, look, you know, like, yeah, I mean, that's what changing your life is. It's reevaluating a lot of things and seeing what's important, right? I mean, like, I have an awesome life with people that made this journey either through a support or kind of in the same direction, and that's part of it. Don't think that, man. Don't you know that is the worst, most negative way to think, right? And that is all in your head. It has nothing to do with here. Nothing to do with this business. And always remember this: anything you do, like a diet, is temporary here. You do it right. 3-5, you're done. You do whatever you want with whoever you want. It's like all those definitions of financial independence. So we have a tall, monumental task in the next 19 days of getting people registered, getting people committed. And they need strong, tough leaders. You got to be it, because I'll tell you, if you're that person, you can be tough when you do have a team. Because it doesn't happen before. I promise you that. It's not when I have a team, I'll start acting accordingly. You'll never have a team. It does not work like that. I can say these things because I was like this. I took buses, I took vans, I drove back Saturday night all night. I set up hotel rooms. All those things. Super inconvenient for me too back then. But I believe with intensity and passion and certainty that these meetings changed my life. And they did. They did. They made me who I am right now. And as much as I'm bothered that I'm not getting, I know I'm going to get so much out of the convention. Because there's always another level. So we got to talk to our teammates. We got to get them there. We have 100 people. What 100? You know how many we got? 105 registered. Okay. I really believe this. I mean, I think if we all got people on the fringe and you went through your list and really went deep into your list of people that have been on the fence before, and they need a leader to pull them off the fence, grab them and pick them up. I think we could get to 200 registrations. It won't be easy, but imagine if you doubled your registration, where you'd be, right? Establish your core group. 100 people register for the convention, you make 500 grand in income, right? I mean, think about that. 100 people one day, 500,000 of lifetime passive residual income, where you don't have to work, you don't have to take that crap, right? So we'll be here tomorrow at 9:30. We're going to set appointments. We're going to run our play till Monday, month end, Monday at 6 o'clock. A lot of you guys were playing for Bahamas, planning up, 1 by 1,000, 10,000 points, registrations by month end, 5,000 points. More importantly, we're going to put our head down till the convention. We're going to have the greatest convention. All right? I mean that. For the people that come and the people that decide to come and commit, some of you will change your life. Look what's happened to some of you guys, right? Over the last 6, 8, 12 months. You guys have grown tremendously. This convention is exactly what you need to get to the next one, all right? Game 1, 2, 3. Oh, last thing. Make sure you go online right now. Get on your phone. We have our YouTube channel up. We're going to be posting old trainings and videos of the old ones. Subscribe and get notified with the bell, okay? So, Josh, get on our YouTube channel. Okay.
No, what is it standard
Hierarchy
yeah,
on YouTube. Yeah.
I'll put the link.
In a room. You did? You text me?
I
Oh, you sent it back? Okay. Anybody have extra space for a mail in the room? You did.